Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your personal PMP coach from Certify with Ease. And in this video, we're going to solve a couple of questions that highly resemble the PMP exam. Remember, these questions might be a little bit easy, but we want to understand the concepts behind the questions. Because if you understand the concept, if you understand the foundation, you can apply that to every single other question. And of course, we're going to be using our infamous 23 mindset principles in order to answer these questions. Remember, guys, I have a PMP accelerator program. If you are interested in getting certified, in learning how to solve problems just like I'm solving them right now using mindset principles. If you want to cut your study time to 1 month and not study for 3 to 4 months like people usually do, book an appointment with us, have a PMP coach, teach you everything, hold your hand throughout the entire process so you can get certified the fastest and the easiest way possible. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's jump into these questions right now. Remember, guys, we have 3 simple steps. Number 1, read the question with the intention of understanding what the problem statement is. Number 2, eliminate the answers that contradict our principles or that do not solve our core problem statement. And number 3, choose the answer that completely solves our problem statement. Okay, so a PM is leading a multinational software development project with distributed teams across different time zones. Okay, so this is going to be important. Anytime, guys, they mention that a team is virtually located, note this down in your notebooks. They want you to use that information. It's going to be very, very relevant. The teams rely on virtual communication for collaboration. Midway through the project, the PM notices that the development team in one region is consistently late in delivering their components. Okay. After investigation, the PM learns that the delay is due to a misalignment in requirements understanding. There we go. We got a problem statement now, which has led to multiple rounds of rework. The team states that they do not have enough direct access to stakeholders for clarification. What should the PM do? Problem statement is very, very simple. All right. We got a virtual project. And because it's virtual, people are not communicating. So there's a communication gap. We can just write that, communication gap. And because of that, there's a misalignment in requirements. Okay. Requirements. Let's just say requirements gap, just to make it a little bit more concise. Okay. So what can we do? What can we do as a PM to solve this problem? Now let's go to our answers. Let's eliminate the answers that contradict our principles. Enforce stricter deadlines and hold the team accountable for delays. So this goes against principle number 3, which is to be a servant leader. Okay, we don't enforce things. We don't force people to do certain things. Even though in real life as a manager we might need to, but as a servant leader trait, we don't want to do that. Okay? And it doesn't solve the core problem, right? It doesn't solve problem. Okay? Awesome. Forgive me for my handwriting. I'm writing on this iPad, so it's a little bit new for me, but you guys could probably understand what I'm writing, right? So assign someone from the development team to work directly with stakeholders to ensure clarity. All right? That's amazing. That's a good solution. Why? Why is that a good solution? It's a good solution because, number 1, it doesn't contradict any of our principles. Number 2, if the problem was this misalignment in requirements understanding, having a representative there to gather that information can benefit us. Okay? But let's move on. Let's not choose that as our answer right away. Let's just move on and see what else there is. Schedule additional weekly meetings with all team members to go over requirements in detail. Okay, so technically speaking, this could be a solution. It doesn't contradict any of our principles. It's a possible solution. Escalate the issue to senior management and request additional resources to complete the work faster. All right, so we never want to escalate things, right? This is principle number 8. Principle number 8 that's being contradicted here, that the PM should solve the problems. There shouldn't be any contradiction. Sorry, so there shouldn't be any escalating, okay? So note this down in your notebooks, guys. When you see the word escalate, I have never seen I've never seen that to be the answer. Remember that. Okay? Remember that. Very important. So we never want to escalate. It's okay to discuss. Let's say the problem involves the sponsor. It's okay to discuss the situation with the sponsor, but I've noticed that it is not within the scope of the PMP style to have escalate in an answer. Okay? In an answer that you want to choose, actually. Okay? We're left with B and C. Which one do we pick? So we can keep scheduling additional weekly meetings, but the thing is, people are in different time zone, guys, and we highlighted that, we mentioned that, right? This is very important. Doing that is very difficult. If we have a team that's let's say in, I don't know, Australia, and we're in the States, the time zones highly differ, right? So that's not going to work there. So the best answer here is going to be B. All right, that's our answer. And if you forgot our principles, remember, I have them right here actually. Principle number 8, right? Principle number 8 over here. The PM makes the decisions and handles the issues, right? No running to sponsors, management, whoever. So principle number 8 was being used. So I'm just going to highlight that. I don't know what's going on with this pen, but we're going to highlight that. And we're going to move back. All right, awesome. Let us move on to the next question. The next question is B, and I highly suggest, guys, you pause the video and you try to solve it yourself, and don't just wait for me to solve it. Practice with these problems, right? Solve the questions and see what you can get, and then come back and understand the explanation that I give, because that's going to really help you at the end of the day. Okay. All right. Awesome. So B, a manufacturing company is implementing a new production system to improve efficiency and reduce waste. Fine. The project is halfway through this execution phase when a key stakeholder from the operations department expresses strong resistance, saying the new system will disrupt workflows and reduce productivity in the short term. The stakeholder demands a halt to implementation until further analysis is conducted. That is going to be our problem statement over here. Okay? Demands a halt. Delaying the project will result in significant financial loss, which is expected when you delay things. What should the project manager do? Okay, so the problem statement is very simple. Stakeholder wants to stop or delay, you can say, implementation. This is going to result in a delay, right? Delays. Why are delays wrong? Why are delays very detrimental for projects? Why? Because a delay will naturally create more financial problems. Why? Because you're still paying your employees, you're still paying the contractors, the equipment rental, whatever the project may comprise of, right? And you're delaying the project. The client might be upset about that, okay? So we never want to settle for a delay. This is principle number 2. We never want to settle for a delay. Let's go through the answers. Proceed with the implementation as planned and address the concerns after completion. So we want to eliminate this as well. Why? Because the stakeholder actually might have a point. It doesn't mean we're going to delay the project, but he might have a point. This actually is principle number, I forgot the number, but the principle is to never reject a request. All right? At least not right away. Assess it first. Never reject a request. And we're gonna go to the principle soon, just to show you guys. Meet with the stakeholder to understand specific concerns and identify possible mitigations. I like this. This is a possible solution. This is principle number 1, okay? So principle number 1 is our most famous principle. Principle number 1, a lot of people get it kind of mixed up. The whole premise of principle number 1 is that you should never make an emotional decision. You should take a step back, make a deliberate choice with all the information that you have in front of you. Kind of like a life lesson, right? Let's say, for example, someone does you wrong, or someone harms you, or someone starts swearing at you and someone starts attacking you. Don't make the emotional, don't have an emotional reaction to that. Take a step back, right? Take a step back, assess the situation, and then push forward, right? Obviously, if someone's attacking you, that's something different. But anyways, we're getting off topic. We're getting off scope, guys. We're getting off scope. Okay. Principle number 1. Escalate the issue. So we don't want to do that. Okay. Escalate the issue to the senior leadership. No. PM should be the one to decide, obviously with the right information on hand. Conduct a stakeholder analysis to determine if others share a similar concern before taking action. Okay, so this is a solution, right? But let me ask you this question now. Let's think about it logically. What's the best solution? What really solves the core problem? Let's say we do D. We conduct a stakeholder analysis and we determine if others share similar concerns. So stakeholder analysis should actually be done before this whole process takes place. So that's the number one. That's the fault there. Number two, even if let's say there's a whole bunch of other stakeholders that say that, no, you know what, we don't agree with this stakeholder that's demanding to halt the implementation. It doesn't make the problem go away. This stakeholder who's demanding this can actually have a point. So the best solution here is thus going to be B. Okay, choose B. All right, so let's move on to our principles. I just want to show you guys these principles. So we're trying to find the principle where you never reject a opportunity or request. Okay, here we go, number 18. Okay, number 18 is very important. And remember that number 18, never immediately reject a request or an opportunity, especially from a client, right? But opportunities are very, very general. So if someone comes up with a suggestion or someone's saying that, you know what, you should do this, you should do that, even though it can be detrimental to the project's progress, don't reject it right away. Take it in, consider it, see what the implications are, and then decide on what to do. Okay, so it's a combination of 18 and taking a step back, which is principle number 1. Awesome. Let us move on to this one over here. And guys, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe to the channel. We're growing this channel together. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have been showing me. Okay. So a healthcare organization is developing a new patient management system that must comply with strict regulatory requirements. The legal compliance team have been engaged throughout the project. However, in a recent review, the compliance team identified a major gap in data privacy measures that could result in regulatory violations. Okay. Implementing the necessary changes would require extending the project deadline by 2 months. Okay. So we have a situation here, a pretty difficult one. We have compliance team that has, so we have data privacy measures. How do I get rid of this little thing here? 1 second here, guys. Bothering me. All right. Just going to have to zoom out a bit. Okay. So we have the situation where we have data privacy measures that could result in regulatory violations, meaning that we cannot, under any circumstances, ignore this. However, if we make any changes right now, we're going to be delayed by 2 months. That's our problem statement. Okay, so our problem statement is short. We need to implement this change, but as a consequence, it's going to delay the project. So it's a contradiction right now, because we never want to delay a project. We want to do everything that we can to avoid this, but we need to consider this whole thing. Okay, so this whole thing with the implementation. Let's see what we have. Immediately implement the necessary changes to ensure regulatory compliance regardless of the cost. Okay, so no, we want to take a step back in this situation. Remember, we still want to follow our principles. We don't want to increase the project budget. We don't want to go for a delay. Let's see what else there is. Conduct a risk assessment and consult stakeholders on possible trade-offs. Okay, this is a possible solution. Remember, guys, when you are looking at the PMP exam, when you're doing the PMP exam, you'll see that a risk is directly correlated or directly related to a delay. When you have something that could potentially delay a project or derail the project or extend its timeline, it is a risk. So in this situation, we are talking about a risk. We are talking about a potential risk. Okay? And discuss with stakeholders on possible trade-offs. Can we still get the project on time? So we might want to fast track. We might want to use scheduling compression techniques to still meet our deadline. So what are the trade-offs? Proceed with the current plan, address the compliance issues post-launch. So this does not solve the core problem. It doesn't. We have to consider this compliance issue right now. Negotiate with the compliance team and find alternative solutions to minimize impact. Okay, guys, you're going to see this. You're going to see this sometimes, okay? Remember this. Every time they say negotiate with this organization or that organization, especially when it's a regulatory compliance organization like the government or something, you don't negotiate, right? There's no negotiation. You just assume that whatever they say is going to be whatever happens. Kind of like our legal system right now, right? We vote, we get someone in, and then whatever they do goes through for the most part, right? So negotiating with a compliance organization or a compliance team is not going to work. Okay, just note that down in your books or your computers, whatever it may be. The best answer here is going to be B. Okay, that's our best answer. Risk assessment. Awesome. Let's move on to question number 4, I believe. So an international logistics company is rolling out a new automated tracking system to enhance supply chain visibility. Midway through the implementation, critical supplier informs the project manager that they cannot integrate their systems with the new technology due to outdated infrastructure. Okay. This integration is essential for real-time tracking, and without it, a significant portion of the supply chain will remain manually tracked. What should the project manager do? Okay, so basically the problem statement is what? The problem statement is pretty simple. Okay, so cannot implement, let's say cannot implement software, right? Cannot implement software, and this will result in what? Manually tracking. Okay, so basically we need this software. Now the project's going to be more inefficiently run. So what should we do? We're trying to get this software. That's our main goal. Let's look at our answers. Accept the limitation and inform stakeholders that part of the supply chain will remain manual. No, this doesn't solve. We don't accept these. We don't reject or an opportunity or request. This is an opportunity to make the project more efficient. We're not going to reject it. We're going to try to do something about it. Explore alternative solutions such as middleware to bridge the gap between systems. So I'm not sure what middleware is. My first time looking at these questions, guys. But I like it. Explore alternative solutions to bridge the gap between the systems. I like it. Okay. You're taking a step back. Principle number 1. Principle number 1 in action. Replace a supplier with one that has a compatible system, even if it causes delays. So there's 2 things wrong with this. We don't want to replace our supplier. This is like replacing your team members. This is not servant leader like. Remember, you can have a very good relationship with the supplier. Why are we going to compromise on that relationship? Why not just work with what we have? And even if it causes delays, obviously we don't want to do that. Okay, so this is off. Principle number 2 mainly. Principle number 2 and 3, actually. Escalate the issue to executive leadership, decide whether to proceed without integration. So like I said before, guys, we don't escalate things. This is principle number 8 that's being contradicted. The best answer here is going to be B. Okay, so hopefully you guys are understanding the process as we move forward. And let us move on. So large-scale infrastructure project is in the execution phase, and the project team is responsible for constructing a highway in a high-density urban environment. Unexpected geological issues have been discovered, requiring additional excavation work, which will increase both cost and schedule. The project is funded by government agencies with strict budgetary constraints. What should the project manager do? All right. So here's the thing. Our problem statement here is that, oh man, what happened here? Oh, there we go. So problem statement here is that we know that our costs and our schedule is going to be extended. Our cost is also going to increase, right? Because something unexpected happened. This happens in real life all the time, guys. If you finish a project on time or early, that's a golden star. That's a badge that you can put on your chest, especially if it's a big project. Okay, so what do we do? Submit a change request for additional funding and extend the schedule. Okay, that makes sense. Why? Because it will increase the cost and the schedule. However, we always want to try to avoid it. We want to see if we can get the project back on track, but I'm not going to eliminate it. It's a possibility. Let's just move on. Remember, guys, change request always submitted when something affects the schedule, the scope, and the budget, right? Identify cost-saving measures in other parts of the project to offset additional expenses. Okay, so this is a good solution. The only problem is, guys, we don't consider the schedule in answer B. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now, but and usually speaking, when you try to take funds from other parts of the project, it just destroys the whole system in general, right? Because think about it, you're not going to make the budget with that in mind, meaning that, oh, I can always take money from the marketing department or the logistics department or this department. You're not going to make the budget with that in mind. It's inefficient. Proceed with the construction as planned and absorb the extra costs within the existing budget. Well, that's what we're trying to do, right? But again, it doesn't address the core problem here. It doesn't address the core problem. What are we going to do about the schedule, right? Where are we going to get these extra funds? Escalate the issue to the project sponsor and propose alternative routes through. Oh, okay, this is important, guys. Wow. Okay. So a couple of things now. So I've been saying that, you know what, escalate is not a good solution. Now listen, you're not going to see escalate on your exam. You might see it in study hall. You will see it in a study hall, but you will not see it on your actual exam. You're going to see escalate, but that should not be the solution, okay? However, do we want to speak to the project sponsor in this situation? Yes. The sponsor is the right person to speak to. This is the only time. The sponsor is responsible for sponsoring, quote unquote, the project, right? When you're running out of money, when you're running out of funds, the sponsor is a person to go to and say, hey, we need this. But look at this, look at the solution. Propose alternatives to reduce impact. So this considers both cost and schedule. Because we're keeping it general, we're saying reducing impact. And this is principle number 1. You're not saying, you know what, give me money. You're not saying, let's extend the schedule. You're looking at the situation, taking a step back, and you're saying, let's discuss it with the sponsor because the sponsor is responsible for this. And let's see if we can reduce the impact. So the best solution here is actually going to be D, guys. Okay. So again, it's a little bit worded. Escalate, you're not going to see as a solution on the exam, but remember, it can happen. Okay. Especially if it involves the right person. That's another important point, guys. Know your project roles properly. Know your project roles. When do we call the sponsor? When do we call the product owner, or the scrum master? Know your project roles. Okay, very important. All right, a financial services company is launching a digital transformation initiative to automate its client onboarding process. During the final testing phase, the development team identifies a critical security vulnerability that could expose customer data. The issue will take at least 3 weeks to resolve, delaying the planned launch. The marketing team, however, has already scheduled a public announcement and promotional campaign. Okay, project is pretty simple. So, problem statement: project's going to be delayed, but marketing team is going to make a public announcement, or has planned out to make a public announcement. Okay. What should we do as a PM? Proceed with the launch as planned and fix the vulnerability in future updates. Okay, so again, this ignores the situation at hand, ignores the situation that we're in. It doesn't solve the core problem. We're going to be delayed. So why proceed with the launch? How does that make sense? Delay the launch until the security vulnerability is resolved. Okay, that makes sense, but again, delay. Principle number 2. We might have to actually launch it. We might have to, right? It might be within the project schedule. Negotiate a temporary workaround with the security team to meet the launch deadline. Okay. All right, we're going to meet the launch deadline. That could work, right? However, remember, guys, negotiate. I should make this a printable as well. We can't negotiate things, right? If they say that it's going to take at least 3 weeks to resolve, then that might be something that we have to consider. Inform the marketing team of the risk and explore alternative launch strategy. I like that better. I like this one better. Okay. Why? Because this whole situation involves a marketing team and the fact that they want to launch as soon as possible. This completely solves the problem. Okay. So that was a pretty easy one. And that's a good point too. Remember to read all your solutions carefully. If you see an answer that looks good, don't get excited and just select it. Read everything, and make sure that you're able to understand what the solution is. So guys, moving forward, we're going to do something a little bit interesting. We're going to do some mindset training. We're going to read the answers first and try to eliminate things that don't fit the style of the PMP. And then from there on, we're going to read the question, okay? Just so you practice a little bit more on these principles. Remember, guys, the principles are the most important thing that you have to master for this exam. All right, so follow the executive's directive, A, right over here, A, and launch immediately to meet business goals. Okay, so launch immediately. This means that you're ignoring something. You're ignoring a problem that has happened, and you're just saying, you know what, let's launch immediately. This is not going to be the answer, guys. I can already tell this is going to be rejecting an opportunity or a request. Conduct a risk analysis on the potential impact of launching the chatbot early. Okay, that could make sense. Risk analysis. Ignore the executive, so we never want to ignore. Done. Right? That's rejecting a request again. Principle number 8. Principle number 8 is being contradicted here. Suggest a phased rollout with limited exposure to mitigate potential negative feedback. Okay, so there's 2 answers left, B and D. We could read the question now. A PM is overseeing the development of a new AI-powered customer support chatbot for an e-commerce company. The team has been following an agile approach, making iterative improvements based on user feedback. However, senior executive insists on freezing the development process and launching the chatbot immediately to capture market opportunities. The development team warns that launching too early may result in a subpar user experience and negative customer feedback. What should the project manager do? Okay. So we want to basically launch early. We want to launch, but we're afraid that we're going to get negative feedback from customers. What should we do? Conduct a risk analysis on potential impact of launching the chatbot early, but we already know what the risk is, right? They've already mentioned that there's a subpar user experience and negative customer feedback. Suggest a phased rollout with limited exposure to mitigate potential negative feedback. Okay, so this is going to be the answer, guys. But I just want to make something clear. This sounds like an agile project. And when it comes to an agile project, it is absolutely essential that even though, right, you might get potential negative feedback, it's good. It's good because it allows you to understand how you should iterate your sprints moving forward. Okay? So it's the answer. Now, it's not a good answer, but it's better than everything else. Okay? We're not trying to mitigate potential negative feedback. We want negative feedback, right? Because with negative feedback, we're able to move forward. Think about it this way. When you have a restaurant, where you have a store, or an Amazon product, or whatever it may be, what are the most relevant reviews that you tend to read? You tend to read the reviews that are 1 star or 2 stars or 3 stars, right? Because they're negative reviews. So you want to see what this place is really about. All right, awesome. So hopefully that's clear. How many questions do we have, man? How many questions did I put on this file? Oh, we're almost done. Okay. I thought I had so many questions left. I'm doing this in one shot without any editing. Remember, guys, we have a PMP accelerator program. I've been just mentioning it because I want you guys to get certified without spending months and months studying, without having to memorize stuff. I meet so many students that tell me that, Mohammed, I memorized so much theory and stuff, and I don't know why I failed. Because this exam is not a theoretical exam, which is weird, because most resources teach theory, right? It's just a logical exam that tests your logic and situation-based questions. Anyways, so look at the answers first. So we have A, accept all change requests and find ways to absorb additional costs. Absorb additional costs and accept all change requests? All of them? We want to assess the change requests, not accept all of them. So I'm going to say no. This is principle number 2 mainly that's being contradicted, right? Remember, as a project manager, we're super cheap, right? We're super cheap because it's not our money. It's the company's money. So you have to be very careful. Implement a formal change management process to evaluate the impact of each request. Okay, that sounds okay. Strictly reject any further change to prevent additional delays. So again, we never want to reject a request and opportunity. Principle 8. Escalate the issue to legal advisors to enforce original contract terms. So again, sorry, I think I got the principles mixed up. This is not principle number 8. This is a principle, I think, number 13 or something. But we never want to reject a request. This is principle number 8. Okay. All right, so we're left with B. So we just eliminated all the answers. We don't even need to read this question. So we're left with B, but let's just read it for the sake of it. So we have a construction project, okay, behind schedule due to frequent design changes requested by the client. Okay, I already know what this problem is going to be about. Now, here's the thing. You can note this down. When you have too many changes that are happening to the project, too many modifications, that means that you don't have a proper system in place that can take the changes and assess them and either approve or reject them, okay? When you have a change request process in place, that's actually going to reduce the number of changes. Why? Think about it this way. There's more friction now. The client actually has to go and fill out a proper formal change request and submit it. The client is now going to think twice before submitting an actual change request. Why? Because it consumes time and energy and resources. And of course, the change can always be disapproved or rejected, right? So that's going to be our best answer here. Awesome. Let us move on to this question now. And we're going to read the answers. So proceed with a rollout and address the performance issues later. So no, we never want to address things later. We want to address things now. Why? When you address things later, that can create the delay in the project. Delay the rollout. We never want to delay anything. Principle number 2. Conduct a pilot launch in select locations to monitor real world performance. Okay. Ignore. We never. So this is a pretty easy answer, right, guys? Principle number. I always forget what this principle is, guys. But we never want to reject a request. Okay. So if we read this question, retail company is implementing a new inventory management system and integrates it with all stores. The project is the final testing phase. With the IT team identifies the performance issues. Okay. Operations team is eager to proceed with the rollout, arguing that minor performance delays are acceptable. However, the IT team believes these delays could lead to system crashes. All right. Yeah, conduct a pilot launch, guys. This is similar to like an MVP, almost. Right? Similar to an MVP or a demo. Right? You test it out, which is one of our principles, actually. Let me just show you guys before proceeding. You test it out a bit and you see what happens, right? So over here, number 5, root cause analysis, MVP are your main tools, right? The PMP likes to mention that a lot. So make sure you have that as an option, okay? All right, awesome, guys. Last question of the day. Let's solve this. Okay, let's look at the answers first. Proceed with the launch and update the app later to meet regulatory changes. Update the app later? No, we want to solve problems now. This might cause a delay, right? Pretty simple, but remember, guys, we're understanding the concept, we're understanding the mindset behind it. We are training ourselves in order to recognize what the answer should be. Delay the launch, never delay. Done. Principle number 2. Release the app as planned, but disable the features that do not meet compliance. Okay. Consult legal and regulatory experts to assess the possible risks. All right. Oh, I think I put this question up on my YouTube post. Okay. So check this out, guys. This is an interesting concept. So D is principle number 1, like a lot of you have answered. Principle number 1. But here's the thing that I want you to get from this. Check this question out. So you have this mobile app that will integrate with third-party financial services. The project is progressing well, but the key regulatory body has announced new compliance requirements. New. That's your keyword. New. Okay, that will take effect in 3 months. The app is scheduled for launch in 2 months. And failing to comply with the new regulations that would require, okay. So the thing is, guys, this is new, meaning that it has never been implemented before, maybe never been talked about before. If it's new, that implies that you and your team do not know what's going on. You need someone that's going to step in, that's going to act as your SME or subject matter expert, which is now going to be the legal and regulatory experts in the field, right? Which is one of our principles as well. I'm just going to show you really quickly where these principles at. All right, there we go. SME. Oh man, this list is a bit too long. I gotta shorten it. Okay, but there's a principle here that says, yeah, here we go. So number 14. Okay, number 14 says that if you or your team have no idea what's going on, the SME is what you need. And because this is new, this is a new requirement, that's what we want. We want someone to check over everything. All right. And we are, oh, come on, man. I got to find a new whiteboard software. But we are finished with this file over here. Congratulations. Let me know how much you've scored in the comments section below. Remember, guys, we have a PMP Accelerator course. If you're interested, sign up to it. Let's see what you're about. Let's see if it's for you. Book an appointment at least, and we can talk about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and have a fantastic rest of the day.